First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Yes, sir. We are back with a brand new episode 184. It's your favorite pod. You got all of your bros from the 3-Man Weave podcast, and we're here to give you our thoughts, our takes on everything that then took place in the last week of sports, pop culture. So we here. You got your guy, official Buchanan. Who else I got with me?
Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy Hill. And he'll go here regardless, baby. Let's get it.
And you already know what it is. It's your boy AJ, Mr. Perk 10. I just popped up Perk 10. Perk 10. How the fuck you throw the party without the Perkies? That's my shit. Hey, Y&J. Detroit rappers might be some of the funniest rappers in the world.
They definitely are, bro. I love Detroit
yeah,
rap.
But yeah, I'm good. But yeah, that shit.
They wild boys though.
I've been listening to nothing but Philly rappers today. You know, I just want to rock.
You felt insulted here?
Somewhat, but I mean, you know, it is what it is.
It's crazy because we was over here talking about that last night at my crib. I ain't take it as an insult, man. I truly feel like people take it as an insult, but I feel like for their generation, this truly might be that. You feel what I'm saying?
What do you mean their generation?
Season.
Huh?
What do you mean their generation? Like Meek is still in the generation, like, you know.
No, so Meek he's a part of our generation. There's a whole new generation out there under us, bro, who they have their, like, 10 years from now. You go to a cookout, they're gonna be reminiscing that. They ain't gonna be like, if you put on Dreams and Nightmares, that's gonna be the old heads. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's our time. It happened to our parents. You feel what I'm saying? We had the same conversation last night. It happened to our parents. Like, when they go to a cookout, their anthem, they want to hear Al Green or Frankie and Beverly. Like, that's theirs.
But it's the same thing. Like, when we hear you, like, well, before I let you go, that ring off for us now too. That rings off. Like,
yeah, because we grew up on it. We ain't growing up on this. Our parents' Dreams and Nightmares don't ring off for our parents. You feel what I'm saying?
It don't ring off for our parents, but rings off for
you. You're the
came out now. But since it came out, it's going. I mean, it's gonna ring until, like, would you be able?
That's
to
a wild statement, but I feel like they're gonna remember it, bro.
So
the kids now will remember.
So here's the thing. I know a reason. The reason why I think, you know, Frankie Beverly and Maze ring off for us, because we grew up under the generation that was listening to that. So Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, whenever you clean your house, that's what you woke up on, and you still feel it now. And so that's why I think, you know, if you listen to that kind of stuff in the house or in the car around your kids, it may not be their thing right now, but later on when they get down the line, it's gonna ring off. Because I feel like in about 20 years, when I'm on the grill and Pyrex pot come on by Google, I'm gonna be like, oh, turn that up. Y'all know nothing about that. But then when Chase is out and they come on, he gonna be like, oh, nah, see, y'all ain't from that. This is that shit right there. You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
But to your point, the same thing is going to happen to this song. Think about the parents right now, the younger parents, 19, who are playing this, and their kids are listening to. They're going to have that same exact experience that
think about how many
songs are just different.
Bro, think about how many women that was 6 months pregnant that didn't know they was pregnant was in the club listening to Dreams and Nightmares, rapping and drinking Henny. This is like it's gonna be like second nature.
I'm not saying that it's not. What I'm saying is it's a change of guard, bro. They'll
Yeah.
have their own, just like our parents had our own. We have our own. They'll have their own. We
And
can't make dreams and nightmares theirs. We appreciate our parents, but it ain't ours. You feel what I'm saying?
And I wholeheartedly agree with both of you guys' statement. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of, because maybe I'm taking it as a simple fact. I listen to when people say something, and Uzi, you know, he didn't have to be modest. He didn't have to. He could be.
Uzi kept it real.
Yeah,
he said
he could.
nothing can replace it.
So I'm going to take him for his word. Like you said, he could just be, you know,
and that's
being
why
modest, giving it up to the big bro.
I don't think they're trying to replace it. I just think it's just
Drama was trying to play, but Drama, when he made the statement, I can't take his statement too harsh, because he has an ulterior motive as well. Yeah, like Uzi is his artist.
So he's the one who brought us Lil Uzi Vert.
So I took what he said with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
I'm talking about, like, so I work with kids. The kids love it, bro.
I love it.
They do it every morning. So when I look at them, it reminds me of how we were when we had dreams and nightmares. We weren't that young with it. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't young. I was more mature with it. But I don't teach, you know, young adolescent kids, but I'm pretty sure they like the song too. So it's like, I feel like truly, just like the Nene or whatever, this is something that this generation has. They're going to remember it. When the Nene come on, they're going to be like, they remember it. Just like we remember Superman You know what I'm saying? As much as it ain't our thing now, but if it was at one point,
I cracked.
You know what I'm saying? So come on, man.
Speaking of these old ass dances, why of all of them, Travis Kelce did the stanky leg?
Why not?
You know.
Why not?
Hey, go for what you know. Go for what you know. You know what I'm saying?
Like, bro, like he knew Travis knew somewhere in the script, hey, this play is probably gonna be a touchdown.
Hey, bro.
And he said, you know what? I'm gonna kill them folk with the stanky leg in the Super Bowl.
Bro,
you had 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
No.
2 weeks. And you do the stanky leg, bro. That's how you want to be remembered in history. That's how you want to. That's when people say, hey, he passed Gronk for the most touchdowns in postseason history. You gonna have folk bringing up you doing the stanky leg, dog. Come on, man. We can't. It's a travesty. And I want him tried. And I want him brought up on charges that he did the stanky leg in the biggest stage on the planet.
Come on, bro. Like, literally, the funny thing that you said is that he got the script. That was the word of the night last night in my crib, bro. Like, that's why I was texting y'all. I was like, yo, what was the
score for the script?
Yeah, because it was looking real scripted for
man. Hey, look. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Please make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it. Oh, man. So, script. Talk about the script.
Oh, man. Hey, man. It was pretty darn close to that early script that we had.
It was literally a point off.
Yeah,
both teams, but flip.
Yeah,
and you know what? That's when I was like, "Hey, the NFL ain't slick because they not creative at all." They were just like, "All right, they got us, y'all."
Yeah, just switch it a little bit.
Let's take off 2 points.
They like my school when I did a school paper.
Just change the title, bro.
They just move some punctuation around.
That's all. Let's change a few words around.
Oh, man.
Once upon a time. I mean, it used to happen like this, you know.
Oh, man. I'm literally.
Oh, man. We so whose perspective are we starting off with first? You know, we got to get both.
We can start with mine because mine is the most depressing, and I ain't really got a whole bunch to say right now.
I meant the team, but not the person.
Oh, sorry.
But go ahead and get yours off. You sound like. Go ahead.
Bro, I was so I really couldn't enjoy it. It took me like 3.5 quarters. It took me 3.5 quarters to really get into the game. Yeah, the kid talking about she wrote the script. Shit, that's why she told me so I could put some money down on that beat.
That's why she was trying to go to sleep. That's why
exactly. She knew the ending.
She was like, "Look, I have to get to this end. It's time to go to bed."
Bro, but I was watching everything, just reminded me like, bro, we should have been here. Harrison Bucker missed that kick. I'm like, why that motherfucker couldn't miss that damn kick 2 weeks ago? Then they was calling, like, then at the end of the game, they called that hold, and I'm like, see, this is the bullshit. They giving it away. But man, overall, I ain't even gonna front. That was a great game.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know, all of the like really one of the things that stuck with me the entire game, especially early, was all of the Jalen Hurts detractors. You got to go. Like he literally he made one mistake all game. Like I would like this. Like I almost feel like he played a near perfect game. He was amazing. That fumble, that
fumble was all script, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like it just looked like, hey, all right, bro. Like,
because bro, I rewatched it. Like, bro, he basically it was not an Eagle player in sight, bro. Like, all of a sudden, just fumbled, just away from everybody. Nobody even touched him.
But the way the ball bounced so perfectly in Nick Bolton's hand.
Yeah, but he had the magnets in his glove. You know they say the magnets in the football now.
Yeah, I ain't mean to cut you off, AJ. My fault,
bro. But nah, like I really want to give Jalen Hurts his props. He played a really good game, man. And like, say what you want about him being carried by the team or whatever the case may be, but this is one of the reasons why you did have Jalen Hurts, because he made throws like some of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. Some of like, even though like that pass to Quez Watkins, it got, you know, it didn't get caught. That was a great pass. And you know, it was on the money. He was, you know, some of those passes that he was putting, you know, to Dallas Goedert. I'm like,
oh my God.
That's the one.
That placement was crazy.
Ball placement. And Hill, what when we be talking about, you know, scouting quarterbacks, what I be saying, I'll go by completion percentage or ball placement.
Yeah,
where is the ball when the when a hit gets to the receiver? And that'll show you a lot. And like we talked about a couple years ago when we were discussing, you know, the change in Josh Allen and, you know, the work that he put in. I think that's something that we saw with Jalen Hurts. You know, people always say, oh, you can't teach accuracy. I don't know if you could teach accuracy, but you could teach footwork. You could teach timing. You could teach, like, you know, like you can, you know, teach that seeing the field, and that helps you with their anticipation and where to put the ball. You can work with your guys, and then guess what also helps? Getting a receiver that can beat man-to-man coverage one-on-one.
Oh yeah,
that's always gonna make your quarterback look a lot better.
And he had 3 of them.
Right. And so I think that was a really great game by Jalen Hurts. And it was just a really great game all around. And then, you know, in the script, I knew this shit was coming. Patrick Mahomes was going to re-injure that ankle, and then all of a sudden he was going to turn into Space Jam Jordan. And what the fuck he do? Bro,
Hold on, let's stay with the Eagles. Let's stay with the,
let's stay with the Eagles. But
I do want to echo your. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm going long. My fault.
I do want to echo your Jalen Hurts points, because I was sitting there, you know, as a, you know, I'm a Cowboy fan. Everybody knows that. So I'm sitting there with a little hate in my heart, you know, like, oh man, look at this, bro. But then when I sat back and I'm realizing, I'm like, this is what you want from your quarterback. Like you say, he's putting his team on his back. He's doing everything on the offense that you can ask for a starting quarterback. He's throwing like you say, he's throwing it. He's giving his playmakers a chance. And like you say, oh, he threw a deep ball. Oh man, he threw a duck. And what AJ Brown came back and caught it. No, you're giving your playmaker a chance. You know what I'm saying? He know I know I can trust AJ to make a play for it. And what he do. And then they say, you know, when you throw it again and you throw a actual dime to AJ in the end zone, that's what you get, because he can trust it that the ball is coming my way. Like you say, Devontae Smith is making the play. Dallas Goedert. I mean, God. I mean, he kept making plays.
He is
every time.
Yeah, bro, that boy real.
And you know, then like you say, he hasn't been running since he had the shoulder injury. You know what I'm saying? He brought the running back to his arsenal. Like you said, man, like you said, all the detractors, everybody had something to say negatively about Jalen Hurts. Like I said, you had to go away. You know, you had to throw it away. And like I said, kudos to him, but you lost. I mean, at the end of the day,
facts.
You lost, unfortunately. And like I said, nobody remember the loser. I mean, that's as much credit we're going to give to a losing team. You know,
that's why we started. That's why we started here
on the offensive side. Because I definitely wanted to echo some more points about your Jalen Hurts points. Go ahead, Cannon.
Yeah, man. What I will say, I agree with everything you fellas said so far. Especially like with the wide receiver core, like Devontae Smith clearly was abusing his man. You know what I mean? Even after he tweaked his knee, still was able to get wide open. Dallas got it like just a, a man amongst boys. It looked like for real. He looked like if Travis Kelsey is the number one tight end, he looked like the number two. You feel me? So it's like
It looked like he took that challenge. Yeah.
he damn sure took that challenge. That's what it looked like. And I agree with everything y'all said about Jalen Hurts. The one thing that I want to point out is that I echo these beliefs in Jalen Hurts prior to anybody seeing these things. So it's like followed him in college. I always thought he was just as accurate as Tua. They tried to say that Tua was a much better passer. I mean, proof in the pudding. Thing was, I feel like was Lane Kiffin the coordinator then?
I believe no. I believe Brian Daboll was or somebody.
Yes, it was Daboll. It was Daboll.
But whoever the coordinator was then, it's like when Jalen Hurts came off, they went to a run. It's like they went to a run only thing, and it was like when Tua was in, they would allow him to pass. But eventually, even if it was a run fuel game, Jalen Hurts will have to pass on those 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s eventually, and he always did a good job. Then when he went to Oklahoma, he was incredibly accurate. So it's like, and it's like, all right, the first 2 years, you're not super accurate, but he wasn't inaccurate. You know what I'm saying? He's right where a first and second year player should be. So it's like now you surround them with those players. You give them a chance to develop. You tell them that this offseason, we believe in you. You're our guy. And this is the fruits of actually developing a player. That's number one. I wanted to add that point. Number two is I felt like one of the reasons why the Eagles couldn't get over the hump is Miles Sanders did not show up
at all.
He did not show up. He fumbled on the first play, which is one of the reasons why they limited his touches. And then when he came in, he got the blown up pass where it could have been a fumble, but it wasn't a catch. And then after that, he had a decent run where he just got rocked, bro. And they was like, after he got rocked, it was like Jalen Hurts said, "Get Gainwell in here." It looked like he said that on the sideline. So
the thing about it is they've been rolling with Gainwell most of the season. It was crazy to see me with them start off with Miles Sanders.
And they have been, but the thing about it is Miles Sanders is the most talented back out of the three. I like Gainwell and I like Scott, but Miles Sanders is the most talented, and he shrunk in the limelight to me. And I felt like they needed him. They, instead of having to rush Jalen Hurts, you should have been able to rely on being able to give Miles Sanders 15 carries, you feel what I'm saying? And be able to actually hurt them with it, because it's not like Kansas City is the best run D in the league or something. You should have been able, because look what Gainwell was doing when he got in. If you should have been able to do that, but I feel like he let him down. That's one of the reasons. I feel like that was a key component of the game. Everybody wants to blame the refs, you know, and like we said in our group, that was the correct call. I do agree with AJ though. It's just like kind of Anhill, kind of tick-tacky in that position. I just wish if it's tick-tacky, let the players play, but by the letter of the rule, that's right. So it's like you got to rely on your team to do more. And Miles Sanders for a Super Bowl and for you to be the starting running back, I felt like you didn't show up, man.
And one thing that I, like when it comes to like the whole, like, oh, the refs ruined it. Like overall, the refs actually, like, I've seen some terribly ref games before. 2 weeks ago,
it was consistent with their,
but at least, like, to me, yes, you don't want to see like one of the last plays come down to a penalty, but overall, it was a pretty clean game, to be quite honest,
for the most part.
Yeah. So
I think, like you said, it's just the fact that the call was the correct call. Obviously, we definitely want the players to decide it, especially in that moment. That's the problem. I think it's the moment. It's like we went the entire game without pretty much a clean game, and then we wait to this moment to get this call at this time.
And it wasn't egregious.
So that's the sour taste that you can have, obviously, if you're an Eagles fan. But like I said, I stated originally when it happened, like I said, when we was in the group chat, I said, I mean, that's the correct call. I mean, it's the correct call. But like you said, I understand the sentiment. I understand the problem.
Scrippish, because I will say my team, a lower team never will get that call. Like there's been plenty of times in the last 2 minutes of a game, my team was close and something like that happens, and we're begging for and they just look the other way, bro. And that's I know it wasn't PI, but you got to take in account that it wasn't catchable, because it's like you kind of rewarded them for just running a play that wasn't gonna work at all.
That's the beauty of Mahomes, of actually throwing it in that direction, just throwing it in that direction, putting emphasis on this is what.
But back to my first point.
Hey,
my quarterback has done that same thing, and we never get that benefit of the doubt on that type of call, even when it's been a little bit more egregious on the holding.
So one of my somebody made a really good point, and they were saying that, you know, the awareness of kind of like of Bradbury on how he was playing defense kind of played into that happening, because it's not like Juju's a speed receiver. Juju's a physical possession receiver, and those are the type of receivers that you get up on, like, because Juju, he does the same thing. He's gonna run into your chest, try and push you off and stuff like that. So that's one of those like physical routes. And basically what happened was, you know, it was just, that's how you really want to defend that. You know, he's gonna kind of like, that route is to run into your chest, create the separation and bounce off of you.
But you was there. You don't need to wrap the hip. You're there.
But that's the thing,
like, in the words of Hill, trust your damn technique.
But my thing is, so to me, that's he did trust his technique,
but he just put his hand on it.
You're allowed to touch the receiver, but you're not allowed to alter their.
But he shouldn't have touched him at all. He didn't even need to touch him at all, because he was literally in Juju's hip pocket, bro.
But what I'm saying is that is a part of the technique, especially when you're going up against a physical receiver, because at the catch point, the receivers are taught to push you away, push you like with their hands low and push you away. And so that's why when you're defending one of those physical receivers, that's why you're going to have that hand fighting. And that's one of the reasons. That's another reason why I didn't like that call, because that's a part of like. That is part of the technique. Don't allow him to push you off, because the receiver's not
like, he's not grab the waist, bro. You cannot grab it.
Hey,
it's gonna cost you the game.
What did I say earlier about what Uzi said about the Meek song? He told the truth. He gave his opinion, his perspective.
He told the truth.
So exactly. So how can we say
you can't do it right there, bro?
He could have played.
Just like that commercial. I touched the ball, coach. It's out on me. No, like it don't matter. Like to me, like you did what you supposed to.
Can't do it. Like, if you know you hold,
but like you said, by the letter of the law, you can't throw that flag. But to me, I've seen way more egregious stuff.
And that's my point.
Allowed to get played through.
I've seen way more egregious and the flag not even thrown.
That's the worst. First off, that's the worst commercial ever.
That's the frustrating part for me.
That's the worst commercial ever. That
was a frustrating part for me, AJ, is that is a commonly type play in the league, and it's like they pick and choose when they call it. It's like, and most of the times they don't call it unless it really affected the catch.
But
so it's like
he could have said at that moment they shouldn't have called it. I thought they wouldn't have called that in that moment. He could have said that.
And that's why I respect. Ain't no point in hating on it right there, because they never ever switch the calls after the fact. So I do respect Bradbury of being I would say he lost with grace. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he took ownership of that. He didn't put it on nobody else. He took ownership of that. I like Bradbury as a player. Even when people thought he was overrated, he got that money and then he actually lived up to it. He's a good player. It's just unfortunate, you know, that got called right there.
I went back and listened to last week's episode, and I know I gave you like some resistance last week, AJ, when you brought up the coaching aspect, specifically for the Eagles. Yeah, that tore my ass up.
Boy, that was kicking his ass, boy.
But when you talk about the Eagles, and you went to coaching, and I was like, and I gave you this look like coaching, right? All year, Jonathan Gannon been getting by with just having the great personnel. His scheme has been average all year. If you listen to Eagles fans, just listen to Eagles fans, not even me. Eagles fans have been disappointed with Jonathan Gannon majority of his tenure in Philly. the only dominant game against I'll say against a good competent team quarterback was the Monday night game against the Vikings.
Jarvis ain't here, boy. He ain't gonna like that. Talking about that schedule.
Hey, it is. I'm not minimizing the schedule.
Man.
I'm
taking it hard.
I feel you.
We bought all the stick talk and everything. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You got to chill. But what I'm saying is the most dominant performance that they had against a competent quality offense was the Monday night game against Minnesota. When they went against a quality quarterback.
I gotta take them off the schedule because what was the key word? Night.
Monday
night.
You prime time. When they played a quality quarterback, they got tore up, and it came and you can tell about a game plan. How many people would have thought that Andy Reid would have fully committed to the running game? You thought that? When the hell have you seen Andy Reid?
Brian Westbrook. I mentioned it on this pod many times, bro.
And I'm going to ask you again. How many times as an Andy Reid?
How many games has it been since he had Brian Westbrook?
Let me properly respond to this question.
Commit to the
how many times have I said that Andy Reid is one of my favorite coaches?
I get that.
And the reason why is because Andy Reid takes what you give. It's one of the reasons why he remains the play caller. You see what I'm saying? Is he understands, and that's why he has so much success over his career. He understands what's happening, and he's one of the best adjusters, bro. So it's like we're gonna have to stick to the run game. If Patrick Mahomes got a banged up ankle, if you know what I mean, if we don't have the best receivers and they got one of the best defenses, you feel what I'm saying? We're going to have to run it because they're thinking that we're going to pass all the time. So it's like it made perfect sense, bro. It's like when you're dealing with a head coaching savant, bro, it's like.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. How often has he fully committed in all our life?
Only whenever he needed to. And I always think of this when I play Andy Reid twice a year, when he used to be in the NFC East, bro, he used to kill us with the run. You know why? Because we couldn't stop it. But when he played other teams, they just aired it out with D-Jack and all of that. So that I always knew, like, dang, like he's a really good coach because he understands. Back then we had Fred Smoot, Champ Bailey. Like we used to, not Lavernius coach, but we had, what's the light-skinned guy that was back there with Sean Taylor for a minute?
His big strong dude, LaRon.
Yeah, big strong dude.
Landry.
Yeah, Lamar Landry. There we go. I almost said Lavernius coach. My fault. But we used to be strong at secondary, but weaker at stopping the run. This is before we had Kerrigan, before we had the line that we have now. We used to get exposed on off tackle runs and stuff like that. And Brian Westbrook used to eat at us. So I knew that Andy has us in his repertoire. He's just use whatever you give us. And most teams always leave the pass open, so they end up being a passing team.
And it's always, but majority of his time, and I'm not minimizing your response at all, but majority of Andy Reid's time, he's been more pass. I agree with that. And like I said, and that's why I was setting it up. Joe was on one tonight. I was setting it up because I seen Joe post. He like, bro, run the ball. He been wanting more run since for a while. Yeah. And you can obviously tell by Jonathan Gannon's lack of a game plan, let's say that he was not prepared for them to fully commit to this running game. He was not prepared.
And you should have been, because you had the personnel, like you said. You could have stopped that run with your personnel.
But that's been one of their Achilles heel all season. They went and tried to shore that up by getting a Linval Joseph, go getting Ndamukong Suh. They tried to go fix that run game, Javon Hargrave and all these other folks. But they just been playing they've been playing the same way all year. And what's another thing I was trying to tell you, AJ, I'm like, you was like, they may be holding some things up, they may be holding it back. They haven't been able to, showcase some things because they've been playing weaker opponent. I'm like, no, they've been really showing their hand and they've been playing the same exact way, because why play differently? It's been working.
Right.
They've been getting the lead, and then they've been running the game out. That's one of the reasons they lead the league and had a good rushing attack, and they had the leading sack getters because they had a lead, and like you said, they're milking the clock, so they're making you pass more, so they're getting more opportunities to rush the passer. It was been a simple game plan because it's working. And we don't get you out your game plan since a lot of teams that they played didn't really get them out of the game plan because it's a hard game plan to get them out of with the ability of Hurts run his effectiveness of affecting the running game even without him running. Just the fact of him being in the backfield, because you can see the clear difference when they had Minshew back there. The running game took a little step back.
So
one thing that so they got exposed when it came to coaching big Andy Reid in them.
So one thing that I will say is, as far as like committing to the run, I don't think that they did anything different as far as amount of times that they did. And like Joe said, 27 pass attempts. Well, I believe in the Bengals game he only had like 29 attempts. And they didn't commit to the run then, but also the reason why it looks like they committed to the run is they didn't have that many offensive plays in the first half. So it was just like they were kind of limited. And so, Pacheco, I think he had 15 carries throughout the entire game. So it wasn't like they were committing to the run game and they were just like, all right, we're going to make sure that we get this guy, this amount of carries. But it was effective runs. And one of the things that was wrong with the Eagles throughout the season were they, like you said, they were suspect when it came to the run. So when you have, Pacheco getting like, I think he was at 3 to 4 yards a carry.
It's about that. He got rocked one time,
it's going to be effective because that's their weakest link, and you're not getting them out of their defense, and then pretty much your entire offense was efficient. Come second half, they didn't second half. They didn't miss. Everything was working.
So those motion backs to the flats.
Come on,
Eagles ought to be ashamed for that, bro.
Come on,
you know what's crazy? Because
they ought to be ashamed for that.
We always Hill. What's your favorite route?
The whip route.
So I love the whip route.
So
I love that route.
So the first time it happened,
I know.
Look, the first time it happened, I told my mom, I'm like, if they run this, if they run a whip route, it's an easy touchdown. It's gonna be the most wide open thing you ever seen. She was like, I explained to her like what a whip route is. Second time, my mom was like, they doing that again. And as soon as she seen the corner run with him, she was like, oh, that's a touchdown. Because we talked about it, was like, you gotta get in the zone in that case because they're gonna try and speed out you.
What'd you show on film?
You showed they showed that.
What have you showed on film all season?
Like they went to the wrong zone. They went to quarters, which is why you seen them trying to pass that joint off. They should have went to a cover 2. So what happens when he would have went in motion? He would have peeled right back. It would have been a dude just sitting out there in the flats, like Deion Sanders, just waiting for that pass. So they wouldn't Hurts, or I mean, not Hurts, but they would have had Patrick Mahomes would have had to go to the next read in that play because Pat probably wouldn't have thrown it. He would have went to the next read, and that might have led to y'all getting some pressure finally. But he was able to be on his first read all night, man. And that's a shout out to Andy Reid and his game.
Because Ken, I was saying, what have they shown all season on film? Defensively, that's what they do.
Yeah,
you can see they was prepared for it. They was prepared for it. Oh, go! We passing it off. It off.
Yeah.
And boom.
Yeah. We ain't even going. We ain't even going. You think we going? We ain't even going.
Yeah.
You looking for the cross? You trying to pass that crossing route off?
Yeah, and we coming right on back.
Right on back, bro.
We running the whip route before
without the play start.
Without the play start,
bro.
Oh, and so
that's what messed them up. That's what messed them up. Mid play, you don't really have a chance to pass it off like that. So it's like once he start that whip, you either got to pick him up, or if you're a man to man, he's got to be your man. But pre-play, you feel like, oh, that ain't my responsibility. He's about to leave.
I had to double check real quick because I just wanted to make sure. I said Pacheco was getting like 4 yards a carry. He ended up he was at 5.
I knew it.
Jerick McKinnon was at 8 yards a carry, and he only had 4 carries.
He should have had more carries. I was surprised he didn't have more carries.
But let's go ahead. Let's transition to the let's keep it on because we spent way too long on the losing side.
Yeah, right.
Be quite side. So now it's time to go to the Chiefs, and like I said, all 14-3 aren't created equal. And I'm gonna just say that all playoff runs aren't created equal, and you can tell this team been battle tested all season. multiple times in
I
the
heard
playoffs.
I heard something that was very profound, and I had never thought of it this way. This was supposed to be their rebuilding year.
Yeah, they was
Yeah,
They got really
retooling.
young on defense. They spent a lot of their draft capital on defense. They were trying to, change their offensive identity where it's like, okay, we're going, big plays, to Tyreek and stuff like that. We're going, be a more efficient offense. And you're only going to be rebuilding so much under, like when you have championship aspirations under a quarterback. But in that sense, it was kind of like that. Like you said, like, reallocating money. We're gonna, put it to the offensive line. We're gonna get young. Like you said, they had what 3-4 rookies in the secondary. Nick Bolton and Willie Gay are young linebackers, and it was pretty much Chris Jones and a bunch of young dudes on defense.
Up.
Can I think that was one of those sensational lies trying to give them overly credited, because we on here, we still predicted them to win the division. Nobody predicted them to not make the playoffs. Rebuilding,
but that's what I'm saying when I say like rebuilding. It's like
rebuilding is the wrong word. It's retooling.
Retooling,
and it's a key difference. It's a key difference. And on top of that, it was so easy for them to retool because the NFL showed them how to do it. Y'all spent all last season when they had Tyreek Hill in two high shell. Y'all showed Mahomes and them how to beat that. Y'all showed them how to alter their offense. Y'all showed them how to utilize the run game. Y'all gave them the blueprint on how to be a well-rounded team. So it was easy for them to retool and to go out there this year. So we can think on it, and naysayers and haters can say, oh yeah, this is their down year. This is all they supposed to be rebuilding. They supposed to be doing all that. But no, you actually gave them the blueprint on being a well-rounded team, because they purposely got younger on defense. They needed to get younger on defense. They need to spend out. They need to spend.
That's what I mean.
They needed to spend the resources on defense because they've been spending all their resources offensively for a long time. It was time to reallocate those assets on the defensive end. It was time to take those lumps earlier in the season. They've been taking lumps early in the season all the time, but seemed like every playoff run, this defense seemed to figure out something. They ain't just where the blowouts, where the shootouts. We only seen one shootout in the Chiefs' tenure in the playoffs. If you want to be honest,
if you want to be real,
well, to me, anything over 30 is a shootout in the NFL.
You want to be real.
How many 30 games did they have?
That's what I'm saying. I do believe this was a shootout, and yeah, it is. But yeah, so to me,
in the playoff run.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
This defense is supposed to have been so ass, right? This defense is supposed to have been the Achilles heel.
I've been
saying in the playoff time, they get it together. In the playoff time, they get it together. But this every run.
But so remember 3 years ago when I said the defense wins championship ideology needs to like start changing. It's like because of the way that the game is called and the advantages that are given to the refs. Regardless of how good your defense is, you're still going to be at a disadvantage. So it should be you want to like stack up and get that advantage as good as possible, and get like I'm not saying forget about it, but do like they did on like with the Chiefs. Like yeah, we're gonna get good, we're gonna get fast, we're gonna get young. They're gonna make their mistakes, but we so good on offense. Like we'll be fine, because at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, we can win a 45-40 game. We can win 35-30. We can win 38-30 because we can put up the points. And they allocated the proven assets on offense. Yeah, and even though they didn't go out and buy a whole bunch of wide receivers, they put that O-line together, like that interior.
That's why I say this comment. Go ahead, keep going.
They put that interior together. They got those tackles on the end. Andrew Wiley was the weak link, but say what you want, he's not trash. So they put the resources there. They have the quarterback on the expensive deal. They got Travis Kelce, who is pretty much always open somehow, And then you got guys that
Always.
they got guys that are on the outside that do what they need to do. And they gonna fuck around and get one of them 4-2 guys in the draft this year, and it might be Tyreek Hill all over again. And who the fuck knows? And it might be a scary sight.
They said it ain't over. Like they said,
then
trying to run it bike.
We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on that, my brother, because
I got some statements on that too.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it was Cannon Turner giving his Chiefs perspective.
Man, I agree with everything that y'all been saying. I felt like teams were pretty evenly matched, but at one point, Pat Mahomes went Super Saiyan, bro, and I feel like that was the difference. Also, with what I said for the Eagles, that Miles Sanders didn't show up, did not help. But with the injured ankle, with everything on the line, when the Eagles finally did get pressure, Pat Mahomes got out that pocket, bro. And when he got out that pocket, it hurt him because
I hate that damn angry toddler run, man.
He closed his eyes at one point because he had to dig out. He knew he had to give it everything to get up out of there, out of Hassan Reddick's reach. And once he got up out of there, and I feel like, bro, that's one of those iconic moments. Like I said, yo, he wanted it, bro. He put everything on the line right there. He didn't give a damn about the ankle, bro. And those are one of those moments that NFL films, they're gonna narrate that. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna talk about how it takes. And I was with our line brother Hill Q last night, and he was saying like they're gonna say like it took grit, determination, like everything, all the season summed up to that point. He was not willing to let it go, man. And I feel like we always talk about that thing that some people have that you just can't coach. That was it, man. If you ever want to see it and see what I be looking for when I be scouting quarterbacks and what AJ be talking about when we're looking at ball placement over completed passes or necessary stats. Sometimes it's the things that ain't in the stats, and ain't no stat for when somebody got to go Super Saiyan and not give a damn about the pain that they're in, still do whatever their job is. And I ain't saying that he was injured or anything, you know what I'm saying, but he was nicked up. So it's like, that's what the greats do, bro. They just find a way, and they will not be denied when it's their time, bro. And I just feel like he displayed that. Gotta have credit because the Eagles tried that. They tried everything they could to stop that, bro. And it's just like that was a straw that broke the camel's back.
Man, they played a good game. Like I said, I criticized the game plan and forever, but I mean it was working for something. You gotta have some adjustments. But they played a great game, man. It was a great game overall. You really can't complain. You can always nitpick on something when it comes to the losing team. I got my speech ready. I can finally throw away one of my takes I've been holding on, and that I knew eventually it wasn't gonna hold on for so much longer, but I was gonna ride that thing till the wheels fall off. I stated after they won their first championship, the Super Bowl, that they were going to have a Aaron Rodgers type Green Bay type of run. We can put that to bed now. You know what I'm saying? It was funny because a reason why I've been holding on, because that offseason after that, I mean, they went crazy after that offseason. I'm sitting there like, oh, this is about to get this take about to be on freezing cold takes. But
we kept asking, where are they getting this money from?
I mean, oh my god! So ulterior motive. I've been riding on that one so as long as I could. I'm like, I gotta keep riding with it until I can. But you can have your ranking. I know we posted in the group whether he ranked all time. Y'all can debate all that all you want.
I just know tomorrow and be a Hall of Famer.
I know right now, whatever your ranking is, he's ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
But what he has to be, he has two Super Bowls and two Super Bowl MVPs. Like,
and it's because of the leadership aspect.
The IG that I sent y'all from, I don't even know the dude's name, but the dude who be breaking, like the one that you said when he say stupid, and you know it's real. Like, bro, he can quit today. Like, Tom Brady should be worried. Like, because if Pat Mahomes could play the 45 at this rate, he could hawk the GOAT.
Okay.
It's only if he could sustain this level of type of play over the span of his career like Tom Brady was. But he's the threat to Tom Brady already. And so it's like a lot of GOATs have had a lot of time to sit in their GOATness. You know what I'm saying? Before Tom Brady came, and you know what I'm saying? So it was like a long time. It was like 20 years before it was, because Tom Brady's 2001, 2002. So Joe Montana's like retired for 20 plus years and his GOATness before. It's like, dang, like Tom Brady played against Pat Mahomes. So it's like, dang, I don't even get 1 year of retirement, but that's also your fault for playing so long, Tom Brady, because now you've entered into the next person's time. So now you don't get that time to revel in your career. You know what I mean? Like Kareem, like a Kareem did, or like a Joe Montana did, or some of the other greats. So even and this is off point. Why do they put Marino up there with the greats, bro?
Get him up out. I mean, he's a great, but I mean,
he's a regular season great, bro.
Yeah.
Only.
So
I'm trying to figure out why is he consistently. They be trying to mention him with the GOATs, bro.
Yeah, they gotta chill.
So the reason why, like, I think Marino in that conversation is a little bit skewed. Like, because when it comes to the GOAT conversation, we talk about like the wins and stuff like that. Marino was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, talent-wise, because he was one of the first quarterbacks that could like, even when it was still in that run-heavy era, he was one of the first that was really gonna like out there like putting up, you know, numbers that could hold up. But he just didn't have the Super Bowl. And once again, like, to me, you know, y'all, like we've all talked about it, you know, stuff like that, where it comes into, to me, rings isn't everything, but when you have these conversations, not having one is always going to diminish you. And so the talent that Dan Marino had, I'm like, I can understand how he gets into this conversation. Like, when you start getting into the, you know, the top 4, some people's top 5, that's when it's going to be a little bit different, because he doesn't have that postseason success, and that's where it is. But Dan Marino, like he said, like Joe said right here, like he did, like he was in that run heavy era, and he was one of the first ones to start putting up these numbers that ushered in this passing game era. And so that can put you into there, because it's like, you are part of the evolution of the game. You are part of the reason that the game evolved.
Okay.
And so that can also be a reason why you can be considered a GOAT as well.
That was a good point for his side, because I've been wondering why.
I'm also not saying that I'm just saying,
but when you saying that, I could understand why they constantly throw him in there, because I've been wondering for years, because I've watched like Marino films, but it's like they always end with an early postseason exit or not getting it done. So it's like, but when you say he kind of is the father of this what we've seen now, I can agree with that,
because he's great. He was one of those ones when it comes to talent wise, but it's a reason why he gets knocked and diminished by everybody else. I mean, what's the reason why you always put Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes above Justin Herbert? Because what has he done other than pile statistics up?
Yeah.
I mean, he has elite talent. He do all the stuff that all the other quarterbacks do, but what does he have? What does he have to show for it? Nothing. You are all-time great. If you one of them ones, you get you one. You get you one, bro. You know what I'm saying? You get you one. Drew Brees get you one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drew Brees is up there. He got a lot of statistics.
Yeah,
if you're an all-time great, you're going to be criticized until you get just one.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's just that simple. So hell, get his ass up out of there. And when it comes to and the reason why because this is what in front of Aaron, the reason why he surpassed him, because talent-wise,
I got a point.
Aaron Rodgers can do everything. He can do. He was Pat Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. He can do everything.
Damn.
Except he can't make random talent look better. Pat Mahomes makes random talent look better.
He doesn't have the leadership qualities.
Yeah, so it's like
it's clear as day.
He ain't really Pat Mahomes. Like, it's like
that's what separated him.
Really in front of Aaron Rodgers to me. One, he has 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and 2 Super Bowl championships, and he's been to 3. You got in the NFL, you get credit. You get a little bit of credit for going to the Super Bowl because unlike the NBA, it's any given Sunday. Like in the NBA, the better team normally always advances because it's a 7-game series, and this 7-game series is designed to weed out the weaker link. You see what I'm saying? But on an any given Sunday, winner takes all type format, we've seen wild card teams win a Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying?
And that's another reason why I say, you know, like for me, like when it comes to the GOAT conversation, like especially in football, the rings, that's a nice buffer. But to me, it's all the other stuff.
Just getting there in football is tough, bro.
To me, is more important because so many determining factors can take things out of it that are out of your control. Like even look at Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl against the Bucks. Patrick Mahomes was still great.
Yeah,
he couldn't do nothing because they had nobody left from the offensive line. You know what I mean? Like you look at last year and this year for Joe Burrow. Like last year, the offensive line was terrible, and he still got them to the Super Bowl. This year, they literally lost 3 of their starters in like consecutive weeks. And then it just like it became too much. You know what I mean? So like so many people can get hurt. Like Peyton Manning, they would win, 12 straight games, get ready to go into the playoffs as the number 1 seed. Bob Sanders tears his pectoral muscle and the whole defense fall apart.
Bro.
You know what I mean? So it's just like it's so many other factors in football where it's just like you kind of have to take things with a level of nuance. And I take it there, but
get you one.
But you got to get you one, and then also but you also can't like another reason why, like I said, we talk about Herbert versus Burrow and Allen and stuff like that. We also saw Herbert with a chance to get them in the playoffs, and he didn't do it. You know what I mean? So it's not so he got the talent, but we didn't see it. All the quarterbacks have the talent. What are you gonna do to separate yourself? And that's why I said, Herbert shouldn't be up there in this conversation. Like they had Herbert in the conversation with Allen and Mahomes, and they hadn't had Joe Burrow in there. And what I I had always told you, I don't care if if you say he's better, but don't have him at number 2 or 3, and then you got Joe Burrow outside of the top 5, because wherever he's at, Joe Burrow should be at. Because even before like that season when we went on the Super Bowl run, Burrow was doing every single thing that Justin Herbert was doing. Before he got hurt, he was doing everything he was doing. And then when it came down to it, Joe Burrow started making plays to get his team to the playoffs. And that's when it, to me, was like, hey, that's the separation. But it's not taking anything away.
Let's get so you feel me? Most of the time, yeah, I mean Marino couldn't do it.
Nobody can do it. Joe Burrow's the only one throwing 360 passes. I don't care if it's warm up or not.
Well, you know how we most of the time, we break down the winners and losers when it comes to the Super Bowl and their path of returning. Start off with the losers, the Eagles. They have a lot of key free agents coming up. Charlie Johnson. They got James Bradbury, their right guard, TJ Edwards, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox. They got a lot of free agents that's coming up. The key free agents, starters. Jalen Hurts is now eligible for an extension. So they have a lot of key decisions to make. The one thing that you would say that, like, oh man, I don't know how they'll recover. That's the one thing that you can give the optimism of them returning, because Howie has shown a manipulation of the cap. He's been showing that a while. He showed that multiple times that the cap don't mean nothing for him.
Yep.
Them acquiring talent, he definitely one of the best at doing that. His GMing skills is up there with some of the best. The offseason that they just had was one of the best off seasons we've seen in a while. I don't know how they're going to duplicate that this year, but he's going to try.
I hope not.
He's going to give them. I hope you don't get it.
That's just hate.
I mean,
and I get it. And I get it.
They did it last year. They did.
And I get it. That's just pure hate. But based off his track record, what he can do, how he's gonna
You
even
took
if they
all my points, hell.
even if I mean I'm here today, baby. You know, it happens sometimes. Y'all be getting me sometimes. So, but you know, Howie, you know, he's shown, you know, the wherewithal on how to, you know, build a team. You know, they have a lot of draft capital as well. You know, the manipulation of the cap, the way they're going
That's
to do
what I
some
was going to
things.
say right
This
there.
this offseason is definitely going to be interesting. They're definitely going to make another run. They're going to be one of the favorites in the NFC East. They're going to be one of the favorites in the entire division. You know, it's going to be clear cut right now. As of right now, it's going to be the Eagles and the 49ers again as clear cut favorites in the NFC, and everybody else is just, you know, trying to
Trying to
catch
play
up.
catch up.
Trying to play
Eagles
catch up.
perspective. Eagles perspective, Cannon.
Man, I feel like y'all saw that Super Bowl. It came down. It was similar to the Burrow lost Super Bowl, you know, and the Bengals almost got back. I feel like the Eagles are that same type of team. I don't feel like, you know, the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl outright, but I feel like the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
yes, they have some key free agents coming up, but whether they re-sign those free agents and bring them back, or whether they let them walk and replace those free agents, I have full confidence that they will do whatever they need to do to put out winning football product. But with that being said, I feel like Hill said, they're going to be right in contention next year. I feel like the Bengals too. Like, I feel like all of these teams that understand how to field a modern football team, those teams are going to be relevant. Even a team that didn't make it, like a Miami, just to prove my point. Like, I feel like they're going to still be relevant next year. Like, even if, you know what I mean, even if Tua continues to have injury problems, because I feel like just structurally wise, their organization is going to be filling holes, not wasting money. You feel what I'm saying? And not overreaching, but just getting football. Scott McLuhan said it a long time ago. You just really want football players at the position. And the Eagles are an epitome of that. They've developed most of their own players, how we have brought them in through draft. They have a lot of draft capital. So I feel like they're going to be right in the thick of things, unfortunately. I hope they're not, but I don't see how they can really mess this up. And I do also like their coach. Like, they got a coach that players are buying into. If you're a young free agent or a young player, it will be a great place for you to wind up. Like, so they're an attractive piece for free agents, and they're desirable for someone who's in the draft. Like, when you get that call, you're gonna be excited. If I'm going to Philly, I hope you can make the team at this point.
AJ.
So for me, I do believe there's definitely a path, you know, for them to get back. Like you said, it's going to be the Eagles and 49ers as, you know, most people's Super Bowl favorite picks. And it's a possibility that, you know, like we said, I don't like what path is there outside of, you know, some of these other, like, for these other teams to get to the level that the Eagles and 49ers are. You know, before the season, we took some, well, I know I did. I took some heat and I said the NFC is the weaker conference of the two. And I think it's the path of least resistance. I don't necessarily see right now what like a exponential jump where some teams may be able to get into that conversation as the favorites. I do believe, like I said, the Cowboys are going to be a threat because, you know, like I said, I believe that they're a good team. I know you have your issues, and they intentionally got worse. They intentionally got worse, and we're still a threat. So that, to me, that still shows that they pose a threat, and they lost to one of the teams that we thought was one of the best teams in the NFC. I can't be mad at that. So I think that they're going to be, you know, in the conversation, you know, of someone that can make things happen. But I don't really see like a whole bunch of other teams that could be there. And so yeah, I definitely think that the Eagles completely, like they definitely have a path to get back. And four of their first picks are, you know, either if round 1, 2, or 3, and one of those picks is, you know, the number 10 pick overall. And Howie could literally, if he wants to, trade back with that and get more picks.
He
Trade
will.
back to Washington.
He will.
Like
he's going to trade. He's going to trade back.
Get more picks, and some of those free agents that they about to lose, they can damn near do what the Chiefs did. Let those expensive dudes walk, get cheaper, in some other places, and just acquire talent and get those cost controlled assets. And that's gonna be trouble. And you still got Devontae Smith on a rookie deal for at least 2 more years, because you got his 4th year and his 5th year option. Kind of crazy that no one's saying that they need to trade him because they can't afford him, but they saying we got to trade T. Higgins, but that's neither here nor there. But that's this is like what I'm saying. Like they have some guys that are young, cost controlled, that they can build off of. And even
I hope y'all trade T. Higgins. Boy, keep listening to these people out here, man. People just saying what they want. That's the thing. I figured this stuff out. Like when you want somebody, you say like the Bengals need to trade T. Higgins. So it's like that's how you get them on your team. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes common sense. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like nobody's saying that like
I told Hill. Like when they said like we need to get rid of that, please.
Yeah,
please go into the land of having no quarterback, and I hope y'all do.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I welcome you coming to this land, bro.
I believe the
which
Eagles.
Where you gonna pull this Dakless quarterback from out next year out of nowhere? Like who's gonna be your quarterback unless you're gonna get Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr or Lamar, who you're gonna have to pay for all 3 of those? Mm-hmm. I don't know who you're going. So it's like, yo. People tripping, bro.
And another thing before we move back on to the Chiefs, I believe it's been rumored that the Eagles may lose both coordinators. They've been in position.
I think Jonathan Gannon coached his way out of a head coaching job. He'll be back.
Cannon, what'd you say?
So.
Earlier, I took your point. No, Cannon, what'd you say? I took your point.
I said good. I took your
point earlier.
Yeah,
AJ just stole my thunder again.
My fault.
Because I mean,
hey, you really think he coached his way out?
I never thought he coached his way in.
Right, and so here's my thing.
I never thought he coached his way in either, but I
don't. That's my.
But if someone was interested in him, I don't think that he coached his way out. That's
let me ask you a question. What
has he showed? It's good. We put good film out there.
Hold on,
didn't win, but that's good film out there.
What job is Jonathan Gannon up for? Cardinals.
I don't even want it from him.
Yeah, it's the Cardinals. What's his calling card?
Defense.
No, but what's something that on defense where it's like, this is why you want Jonathan Gannon as your head coach?
Yeah, zone coverage.
So who do you know what other defensive coach is up for that job?
Lou Anarumo.
And I hate to sound like a homer, but what's his calling card on defense?
His calling card is game plan specific
and adjustments. What did we just see? What did you just say Jonathan Gannon didn't do?
Didn't make any adjustments against Chiefs.
And so that's what I'm saying. I think he coached his way out, because if you
gotta be careful when you judge somebody on the Super Bowl and you judging other people on their regular season.
I'm not judging him off of a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying. So it's like if I'm got to put yourself in a team. If I was already sold on Gannon, you see what I'm saying, and then I look at a Super Bowl, I don't think he did anything to warrant me not bringing him in. If I was sold prior, you see what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm sold prior, but all he did was give his team a goddamn shot to win it.
I get what you're saying.
You know what
I'm saying just like the resume. That's all I'm saying.
I don't. So and that's the thing. So when Hill says like, we never had him in, but there are teams that did have him as a high candidate. So if they have him as a high candidate, I personally don't think he did anything that I feel like he did everything that they were sold on to make him a high candidate. You know what I'm saying? The team just didn't win. It's like, also, if I'm evaluating somebody, I got to understand that this game is different than normal games. You see what I'm saying? It's different than normal games. It's the same reason why Miles Sanders couldn't show up. Because this game is a different game. So it's like, if I'm looking at what somebody does for a hire, I want to look at what they consistently done most of the time, not some one-off game. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's the Super Bowl, but it's like I can't let that dictate what I'm going to do when it comes to hiring. Even though it's like that's what they try to make it seem. I don't think deep down in war rooms they're going off one game. They're going off a long list of stuff.
And I get your perspective because I can, you know, I can see that. I can see exactly what you mentioned. Like you said, this game, like you said, we was already planning on hiring you anyway. You know,
exactly.
So hurry up. But I can definitely sense the Eagles are hoping that he gets this damn job. Eagles fans are hoping he get this job so they can actually possibly.
I hope he get his job too. just like that.
They can improve.
I hope
they
he
can
get
improve.
it too.
They can, yeah, that's ulterior. But
and I hope they don't improve. Just because they can improve don't mean they will. Could take a worse guy. You feel what I'm saying?
That is a strong possibility.
So get rid of him. He just got you to the Super Bowl. Get rid of him. That's my motto, man.
For the Chiefs, like I said, this was their rebuilding, retooling year. They won a Super Bowl.
Hell of a rebuild.
I'm sure that that the times that the youth that they have is going to improve. Like Trent McDuffie is definitely going to become a better corner. L'Jarius Sneed is definitely going to become he's going to continue to be a better corner. The young players that they're going to have, they always seem to find free agent. They are free agent destination because people at some point of their career they say they want to win. We're going to go win.
Yep.
I'm here. Certain receivers may become a cap casualty. They may run. They can't wait to get over to Kansas City. You know what I'm saying,
bro?
And they just know how to win. And the same flip side that we just said that both coordinators may be losing the Eagles. We know the coordinator's not going nowhere for Kansas City unless they want to go somewhere, retire or something. But we know that they're not leaving coaching.
Take a lateral move.
Yeah, why the hell would I?
Why would I take a lateral move?
Yeah, I ain't doing it. I'll ride this thing out till Andy leave if I'm Eric.
The wheels fall off.
Unless you paying me head coach money.
And I'm pretty sure that he getting paid.
That might be the only reason somebody take a lateral movement is pay. Pay and I don't know what else they offering, but
also I said this offline, and I'll say it here. Eric B might feel like he got to take another job to get a head coaching job to prove that I'm just not a product of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean?
You can think that, but when you go where you going and then you don't win,
right. But that's what I'm saying.
Coach,
those are the options.
That's also going to be tied to you too now. So it's like you have to. Your best bet is to continue winning Super Bowls. I don't care what nobody says. Like I'm winning Super Bowls as a coordinator. Doesn't matter if Andy's calling the plays or not. I'm winning Super Bowls. So
y'all gonna like this analogy. What the players been advocating for all year. They want to play on grass, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I say? Y'all got y'all $1 billion corporation. Y'all can figure out how to maintain some grass, right?
Yeah.
What they doing in the Super Bowl yesterday?
They played
on grass, and that was one of the worst fields of all time.
Slipping all over the motherfucker.
But you know why?
I wanted to bring that up to you.
This goes to me and AJ point when you said that they could maintain grass, right? So here's the thing, and we talked about this yesterday. A natural field of grass, right? If it was getting rained and watered and treated, it would absorb the grass, the water naturally, and the moisture naturally, and it would have 15 to 20 feet of that water to just seep in and for that grass to be firm and be a good football playing surface. But you got this field in Arizona it's a great wonder mechanically, it rolls out so they can get sunlight and water, but then it still comes indoors. But the fact of it is that field can only hold so much turf and dirt. So when you're watering it so it can get that green look on it, it's like now that water starts to pool and starts to hold in there, and it's not unnatural, which is why you seen everybody making a damn plant slip yesterday.
And that's why when you paint it, it gets so slippery because the water doesn't have anywhere to naturally go. It's just like
real grass.
It's just like when you got a pot. When you water it, it's gonna sit down at the bottom until it eventually evaporates. But if you're taking care of it all that time and you're trying to do all of this stuff, it's going to have that moisture is going to rise up and everything like that. So it's cute that they did it and all that stuff, but you got to be careful what you wish for. And
that's back to my Eric B point. The grass ain't always green on the other side.
That's a motherfucking bar.
You talk. Come on now. You could try to be the offensive coordinator somewhere and call plays to try to go.
What you got to do is just pick a stadium that naturally has grass. I always thought that Arizona experiment was a weird one. It sounds nice on paper.
It sounded
But
great.
when you think about how grass really needs to grow, and you know, I've called your father Hill, and I've had talks about grass.
Mm-hmm.
Grass gotta absorb water. So here's the thing: if I put grass on a moving conveyor belt, then there has to be, like AJ said, there's somewhere where this water's gonna trap and pool at, man. So it ain't dispersing how grass would naturally, making this grass not greener on the other side. Like you said, so it's like, bro, like
you know what's crazy? They talking about playing on natural grass when it's not natural grass. Like
stadium.
Like it's not like this grass has been planted and it's been growing from the ground. It's like it's GMO grass basically.
Exactly. Now build the stadium to have natural grass and make sure that sunlight can come in and that rain can come in, and then play the Super Bowl in that stadium. You see what I'm saying? You could have easily played it because the Rose Bowl has real grass. And you never see that problem in the Rose Bowl. You know why? Because the Rose Bowl don't have a dome on there. It's getting real sunlight. It's getting real rain. And then they water it to whatever they want to, but they testing it because it got real dirt underneath it where they can make sure that this joint ain't pooling up. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like,
but at the end of the day, the Chiefs definitely still going to be the class of the AFC again. They're going to regroup again. They're going to be one of them ones again. And once we see the offseason moves again, we can make our predictions again. But it definitely going to start off with them winning the division again. And like I said, you may have to go through Kansas City again because they haven't left Kansas City in this whole run. They haven't left Kansas City yet in this playoff run. Somebody gonna have to make that happen. They gonna have to make them play a road game.
I know a guy.
Let's go. Well, let's go. Y'all gonna have to make it happen. Y'all gonna have to get them up out of Kansas City at some point.
We working on that.
All right, man. We got a good recap, man. But shouts out to the Kansas City Chiefs, man. This dynasty is up there with some of the other dynasties. You know,
especially if they get another one, they really
submit themselves at that point. But it's definitely up there. Maybe it has already. It might have surpassed the greatest show on turf already.
I mean, you could say it, but the greatest show on turf got 2 chips, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, they could say I did what you did.
It's
just a matter of opinion. You got to get 3 to say you surpassed them.
That's why I didn't go no farther than the Rams.
But they can definitely say it. They definitely can say it.
That's gonna be a group question. We're gonna ask that which little dynasty was better.
And it also matters like who you were. Like, did you actually see it? You know what I'm saying? If you only heard about it or read about it, you can't really give an accurate opinion on the greatest show on turf now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that go. It might be a lopsided thing right there. We might only got Donnie. Donnie might be the only Rams one to defend it. We got a video. Before we transition to this NBA trade deadline, and I want to discuss. AJ,
last night it stung like a motherfucker. I ain't no motherfucking hater. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Last night it stung like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. But this what I do want to say. To all you niggas that just keep calling my phone and y'all not Kansas City Chiefs fans, I don't understand that. Right. Like, you niggas calling my phone, oh, gee, I told you, fuck you, tell me, nigga. You a Dallas Cowboys fan, nigga. Y'all niggas ain't won since they took cocaine out the league, nigga. Since they stopped letting players snort that good old yayo, you niggas ain't won shit. Fuck you mean you telling me, man? How you out here celebrating other niggas' wins, man? You wasn't a part of that shit, man. Got a nigga from the old time Redskins, Washington Commanders fan, hit me talking about, damn, OJ, fuck you on my line for, man. The last time you niggas won, the original Scarface was in theaters, bitch. The fuck are you talking about, man? The fuck up off my line, man. Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs fans, man. Congratulations. All the rest of you niggas, y'all niggas better keep posting memes and shit. I don't give a fuck about that. Don't call my motherfucking phone talking shit when you niggas was already lost. You niggas already sitting at home on some loser shit. And you want to call my phone, damn, OG, I told you, fuck you, tell me, nigga. When you already home on the couch, bitch? Oh, all right. Right!
that bitch at the end, so that sealed it, yo.
He right, though.
He's 100% right.
Which is why
100% right.
I ain't hit up no Eagles fan today and say, "Ha ha, you lost."
It's
Especially
corny. And
now,
but you
I
know
might
what?
have. Now I might have if it was a blowout. I ain't gonna lie, but it was actually a good game. So it's like, bro, whatever team would have lost last night, I would have. If I knew a fan personally, I would say you can hold your head high, man. Had a hell of a season, and in fact, Marcus Hill, he basically he had posted this morning. He was like, you know what? He said, I ain't gonna be mad. He was like, it's a lot to look out for. He said we had a great season, and he said I feel like we can go up for here. And I said, bro, that's a great outlook. And he said, ain't no need to be mad, bro. And I said, need to be more fans like him. But I'm pretty sure if he got people hitting him up like Gilly, who like me or like you, who ain't our teams didn't even go to the Super, we wouldn't even hit them up. You feel what I'm saying? Unless to say, I feel you on your comment that you made. I'm not hitting them up to say, how you lost, bro. My team didn't even make it to the playoffs. Like, you gotta be shit.
But this is my thing.
That's the era that we live in, bro.
This is my thing. You cannot be selective when you want to be real and you want to accept this. Just because it's the Eagles, now all of a sudden you want to stop all people calling you, all the people that lost and stop you calling your phone. Now, when I've been saying it, all of a sudden, I'm wrong. It's the Cowboys. Y'all ain't never won anyway.
I ain't never
everybody
said
hate the Cowboys, so everybody can get. I'm not talking to you, bro. I'm not talking to you, bro. I'm just saying, when I was saying it, because I've been saying it in the group, it's been documented. Since people don't, you may not listen here. I've been typing it in the group for years.
But the Eagles
Your
fans
team lost,
in the group,
you ain't got nothing to say.
The Eagles fans in the group, I'm not giving them what Gilly just gave us. They ain't been acting like that.
Jarvis.
They've been acting like hoes.
Jarvis.
Woo! So it was like, that's not how Gilly acted. Gilly was specific, which is what I said in one of the comments to when I said, yo, at the people then. You up here throwing de facto and talking to everybody for what? Like, if you feel like somebody ain't doing it, at them, bro. Like, Gilly specifically said, like, if you a Cowboy fan, don't call me. If you're a Commanders fan, don't call me. And then he pretty much said that, like, if your team was at home on some loser shit, like, don't call me. So it's like, I feel that. But some of the people in the group, like, they just been mad because people have responded to what they said. Like, if you woke up yesterday and you said, like, it's about to be so, like, y'all about to witness greatness and all of that, don't be mad when people in the post say what happened to the greatness that I was supposed to witness. You invited that, bro. You invited that. Learn how to be humble, man. And so it's like,
and this is why, like, last year and this year, when we getting into the big games and stuff like that, everybody be like, oh, I got 100 on it, I got this on it, I got this on it. And what's my rule? If you're not a fan of the team that we playing, I'm not betting you.
Yeah. Trying to get an easy 100 with the Chiefs, like, you ain't even a fan, bro.
Because you have nothing invested in this besides money. Like, you're just trying to make a buck off of me, and then if we win, you just pay me, and then that's it. But if we lose, you're gonna be talking shit. You're gonna be like, yeah, give me my money, y'all trash it. Bro, and you're not even like, so no, I don't bet with nobody that you're not a fan of. And so that's another thing that, kind of like with me is like, even on them runs, like, I talk trash to like rivals and stuff when we play, but I'm not out here like praying on nobody downfall and this and that, because for one, I know how hard it is to get there. Because like I said, bro, like, I've been on this planet for 34 years. I'm just now seeing my team win in the playoffs. So it's like, cool, like, like,
I mean, you may have seen it way back in the day, but you just can't
bro.
remember.
We went like that was 1988 and 1990. I couldn't control my drool, bro. So that's like
Sam Weiss, man, you don't know.
Prime example, AJ. I told your boy, Brandon Van. I said, hey, bro, your whole life, bro, you ain't been saying greatness. You all talking all high and mighty now because it's high and mighty now.
And why you think I don't cake for nobody else? Like, bro, like, y'all
we ain't seen them since.
Like, we haven't, bro. Like you said, like, you sound nuts because it's just like you over here talking about other teams, like, oh, y'all gonna lose this and that, bro. We ain't won. Like, yeah, it was great for us to get to the Super Bowl, but we ain't got no championship. I don't like, you'll like you said, like I told y'all, like, bro, last year and this year were not disappointments for me, because Who could have expected that? Like nobody expected the Celtics.
But you still would like to win. But that don't make them
exactly after the Raiders game last year. Everything was a plus. I enjoyed that run. It was a great run. We was in close games, all of that. But it's like at the end of the day, I would. Hold on.
This is funny because I had a bro hit me up when he seen our predictions. He said, "Oh, you going with the Chiefs?"
Yeah.
He like bet the 50 on it. I say, "Hey, bro, you got FanDuel or DraftKings?" He like, "Nah, I got Cash App." I'm like, "Nah, you need to go to FanDuel and DraftKings because we ain't talked all year." Like you said, so it was a prime example. Don't try to hit me up and try to. And when they lost, I didn't hit them with it. I told you so. I said, "Hey, you're welcome. You lucky I didn't take your money."
He didn't get, but facts. Facts. Try to help these men. Try to help them out. Need to start taking that free because let's be real, man. If it came to just picking winners and losers, and if we took people's bets, we would be running off on the plug because, bro, our average for winners and losers is way above 500, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. We really good at this.
We in the percentile with them things, and we got the data to prove it. If y'all want to, so it's like, hey, man, if just asking us to bet against winners and losers, if it ain't your team, that's not smart, bro.
Nobody took my bet. We could have had a cool 50. That's a fact. Hey, they could have got it.
Nobody wanted your team. That little thing, man. That thing that $50 come with a whole bunch of sad talk and complaining afterwards and all that.
Can't get rid of that in a day, man. Buchanan, tell him you get rid of that in a day.
All right, look, we got the last 10 minutes. We definitely had an exciting trade deadline last week. Soon after we recorded, that trade deadline, like Candace stated, was the best trade deadline we've seen in a while. And you know what? Before we go, I'm so glad that the trade deadline happened during Super Bowl week.
Because I ain't listened to none of that mess, bro. I ain't seen one pre-Super Bowl interview, man.
Yeah, and I'm so glad it took my attention away from ignoring.
I was doing nothing but researching trades, picks, looking at current rosters. Bro, I'm actually glad that this is the first time that y'all have ever heard me say that I ain't sad that the football season is over. Normally, I say, damn, y'all.
We one step closer.
I'm this time I ain't gonna be sad until the NBA season is over because that trade on the deadline revitalized not just the Lakers for me, but the whole league, man, of what I thought would transpire this year. So I had my whole outlook of what I thought we'll see, and I pretty much had Golden State Warriors as a lock. And the not Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks as a lock to go to the championship. I don't throw that mess out the window. Nobody's a lock anymore. One, the Bucks have been struggling. The Celtics are looking serious, but I still got faith in the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Durant's completely gone out the West now, so that means that another team is definitely going to move into playoff contention, and the Brooklyn Nets probably will fall out of playoff contention. But there are a lot of teams that I'm looking forward to see that made moves. I want to see, and they did look good their first night together, but they lost, so I'm a point against them, Kyrie and Luka. But I'm very interested on how that trade works out going forward the remainder of the season. Also, does Kyrie sign with Dallas next year? Does he touch it? That's something that piques my interest. Denver didn't make no trade deadline moves, but I want to see, can y'all hold down the top spot still with everybody else making these trade deadline moves? Because
they did make a move. They did make a move.
What was the move?
They traded Bones Highland to the
Clippers. I forgot about that. And that's a tough move too.
But at the same time, they picked up Reggie Jackson in the buyout market already.
Yeah.
So
that was a good move too.
Yeah,
that could help a little better. And then
you know what I'm saying?
For the
we had Rob Pelinka, Willing, and Dillon. The Lakers made moves. We got rid of Russ. We got rid of Pat Bear. We brought in D'Lo, Jared Dudley. We brought in Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba. And then, bro, went to bed after we did the pod, man. After people were saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Phoenix trying to make a play for KD. We like, yeah, I mean, teams gonna do what they do. You feel me? Woke up, man, to
Done deal.
pure chaos in the league, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to one of the greatest trade deadlines of all time. I'm not even mad at Phoenix because if I could have pulled that trade off, I would have done the same thing, man.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that boy KD got a knack for showing up when shit is already built, boy. I tell you, man. And AJ, you've been tough on him for doing that, and I don't want to see a change of heart now that he's on your squad.
Hold on, wait. I never, because when he went to Golden State, I was the one who said I don't mind that because it was a good basketball move. I wasn't tough on him on that. What I was tough on him about was when going to Brooklyn and then complaining because it's like, hey, bro, this was a part of everything that you wanted. You wanted to go win. Because remember,
I playing in Phoenix.
I told him you should stay in Golden State.
All right. Well, we're gonna see when he start complaining. I want to see the same AJ that was on him, that was on his case. Because we got some clips. Don't make me go research some clips now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Pull them out there.
Because even when we traded for KD, I was upset because it was like I felt like this was a destination that he wanted.
I feel like 180, you might have went and fried KD. In episode 180, you might have fried him.
You can go look. But for me, I was upset with the trade initially because it's like I felt like we were bidding against ourselves, and getting rid of Mikal was kind of tough. But then when I started sitting back and was thinking about it, it was kind of the market. You had to kind of give Mikal and Cam Johnson because of the contracts. And then when you look at the Rudy Gobert trade, those 4 first-round picks, that was the market that was set. So that's when it was just like, all right, cool. To me, what's the definition of insanity? You keep trying the same thing over and over and then expecting the different result. That's when it was just like, all right, what we had was not getting us over the hump. We were relying on Chris Paul to be our offensive playmaker and an important scorer in the playoffs, and that was just too much on his shoulders in the playoffs. So it was just like, all right, cool. You know what? You got KD and Devin Booker as premier scorers. Chris Paul can fall back and, facilitate the offense. And anything we get out of DeAndre Ayton in the playoffs is a plus if people can stay healthy. It was worth a shot, yo. It was worth a shot.
Hell of a
Chris
shot.
Paul, 37 years old, so go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
So I think, like we said, we got plenty of time to, since football season over, we got definitely plenty of time to go more in depth with the Suns and more in depth with the Lakers trade. My main focus about this trade deadline was more so on the teams that didn't make a move.
It was telling.
And what was telling?
Because to me, some of the teams like Denver, I believe Denver is good with what they have.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they got rid of Bones Highland, but I think Denver is still going to be tough regardless without making them. I don't think that they needed to have a big shakeup.
Correct. That's one team.
The Memphis Grizzlies, they did a little bit.
I got something to say.
I don't think that they did anything to. I won't say keep pace, but make me feel like they're still a favorite, like they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics. I like them. I like them. Go ahead. Who you got?
They did a Celtics move. I mean, they went and got Mike Muscala right there. He a big that can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It doesn't move the needle. I said it's a Celtics move because it could work for them. And it
could definitely work for them.
It could, extend some minutes, in the regular season, help them out, show up, take his load off of Al Horford a little bit, say, or he could just be bench depth, But it's what he said, they was in prime position and not have to make a drastic move because, like I say, one of the best teams in the East. The Bucks made a Bucks move on to get Jay Crowder, but I'm talking about the moves that they didn't make. And I'm looking at the Hawks. As a result of you didn't get rid of John Collins. Okay, you didn't get rid of John Collins. Maybe you didn't get the deal that you wanted, but this team was definitely supposed to be way better than what it was as they currently constructed are now. And I think the fact that they see the Brooklyn Nets have, maybe took a step back, because I think the Brooklyn Nets still may make the playoffs with the current roster. They just may not do nothing in the playoffs. They may have built enough cushion, to just still maintain to be a playoff team, or at least fall off to the play-in. But the Hawks could definitely take a step up if they could just get it together. They could just figure out whatever's just holding them back, whatever personality issues, whatever basketball issues that they had, whatever the issue is, if they could just figure it out, maybe they could propel themselves up into one of the contending teams. The Heat, they tried to get Kyle Lowry up out of there. That was hard. That was hard in itself. But they didn't. Cannon said they'll figure it out. And like you say, Spo, Jimmy Butler, Bam, they'll figure it out. Try to get in the playoffs. To get in the playoffs, depending on the matchup, we'll see how they go from there. The Raptors, come on now. What's going on? When everybody wanted all your players, are you going to re-sign Fred VanVleet? What are you going to do with OG?
That's the one I'm surprised that they didn't move. Like, why not get rid of Fred VanVleet? Like, to me, that's at least like you can still try and keep Siakam and have him at least be a piece to your franchise and build around, like, get stuff to build around him, like, for the future.
But ain't no point in keeping Siakam without no ball handler. I mean, it's just like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, at least this is going to be a dead year anyway. Just try and do.
When I heard that they want to keep Siakam, I'm like, why?
Or figure it out.
Blow the whole thing up.
I mean, if you didn't blow it up like I suggested last week,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're not going to blow it up, at least
get rid of blow the whole thing up.
But at the same time, it's just like the Heat, they have playoff pedigree. They have a championship type of mold, organization, a good front office. Maybe they can figure out what's they got a former.
Kawhi, he gone.
Yeah,
they still make the playoffs.
Yeah,
they still were a perennial.
They got the championship mode no more.
They still were a perennial playoff team. I mean,
the
Heat hasn't won since Bron left. We still hold them to a high level.
But they played. Didn't they play in the finals though?
They have a superstar, so it's different. So it's like if they were
that far removed from
I would change. I would change if they just had one superstar, but they just need a superstar to get them over the hump.
And I get that. I understand that. I'm not caping for them, but I'm just saying, since they didn't make a move, maybe they could figure out and make a positive run and make the East then conference more
stuff up. I ain't no doubt in that.
I mean, because like they say, they got teams like the Pacers.
It'll be a tough out.
The Pacers are like a year away from being where they really want to be.
But you could have shipped VanVleet and Siakam and got a piece. See what I'm saying? Thank you. Then you could have been on this buyout market, and you could have put together something better than what you have. I just didn't get it.
I mean, like I said, it definitely was a confusing move. Like I said, you had a lot of offers on it. Like I said, a lot of people wanted VanVleet. They wanted Gary Trent. They wanted OG. And, you didn't make a move for neither one of them,
Yeah, we wanted OG.
I mean, we'll see. But it's definitely, a lot of teams wanted OG.
Yeah.
One thing that we'll have to worry about with the Suns is if Ayton gets lost in all of it. Oh, he definitely about to get lost, baby.
He was getting lost, and we didn't have He was getting lost, we didn't have KD.
Before we go on the whole tangent, we already definitely.
All right.
Before we go on the long tangent, we definitely already exceeded our time. We definitely gonna get fussed out later on. But like I said, we have a lot of time to get into more NBA topics. We definitely going
absolutely
execute that. I think before we go, I think we did get I think he did send us something. I'm sorry. I should have looked before.
We're about to be 2 hours long.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
We got a supporter question. I apologize. I seen it late. We're definitely gonna use this next week on the show. So I apologize. It was Jarvis. I apologize to you, but we're definitely gonna use this next week on the show. Saw it late. Apologize, my brother. This is episode 184. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms. 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _ You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill. That's AJ. That's Cannon. Y'all are the fours. And we out.